your American dream?
My American dream is to be great.
My American dream is to be a singer.
My American dream is to own a company.
My American dream is to be able to say whatever I want to say.
My American dream is to become a famous rapper.
My American dream is world peace.
Everyone has a right to the American dream. Welcome, everybody. It is Brad Show Live, and I guess am not in my studio. I am at home in my own quarantine. I was traveling internationally, and I am waiting for my corona test to come back before I go back in the studio, before I go back to the office. I've been working from home. By the way, I feel absolutely fine. I don't believe I am sick at all. I'm just being cautious and showing all the precautions that our president is not doing. But this president, the president of Brad Bernstein, is doing. So I'm waiting on my corona test. And as I wait on my corona test, I am home. I told Jilly and Lee, this is like the good old days when we were all quarantined. Jonathan and Vanessa hopefully will be in the comment section along with our entire team. And of course, we will be back live in the studio. We're going to do another pop-up tomorrow. I am expecting my negative test very shortly. And then as soon as it comes in, I will be back in the office and in the studio, hopefully, on Thursday. So because of this quarantine, we're not going to be taking any telephone calls, but what we will be doing is I will be ask your immigration questions in our comment section, and not only will I ask the question back, I will answer it as well. But it has been 2 weeks, maybe a little longer. I missed everybody. I hope everybody missed me too, because I really did. Not only I missed the entire crew for Brad Show Live, I missed our entire team. I also missed the squad. You know, every day I get to hang out with you guys for an hour or two. It's like we're buddies. And when I don't see you for like a week or two, my heart gets kind of a little lonely. So let me say hello to the entire squad. Elizabeth Francis, squad up. Rahendra BSR, squad up. Marcia Watson, she's watching. Dion Watson, squad up. Joy Titus, squad up. Latana Sani saying, hi, squad up family. Jojo Nelly, squad up. Brad Bernstein family with a high five. Elizabeth Francis saying, welcome back, the king of immigration, Uncle Brad. Violet Blackwood, squad up, welcome back. And by the way, I want you to know something. When everyone started first, I like being called Uncle Brad now, but when everyone started first calling me Uncle Brad, you know, kind of I think like when Jonathan was called Yo-Yo, he's like, I don't know about this Yo-Yo, but we get used to it. I'm so used to Uncle Brad now. I love Uncle Brad. Violet Blackwood, squad up. And by the way, I know it's a sign of affection, so I appreciate it. Violet Blackwood, squad up. Welcome back. Thank you very much. Doreen Dappa saying hi, squad up. Tina Naderj Frank, squad up with a heart. How are you, Tina? Elizabeth Francis, squad up. I missed all of you guys. Abigail Taylor Watson saying squad up to everybody. Jeff Bosey even missed us. He's in the comments. And he said, hello, great people. Stopping by to say hi. Hope all is well. Stargirl Mika. Brad, why are you home? Let's rewind a little bit. Rewind. I was in Turkey. I flew internationally. I don't legally have to quarantine, but because I flew internationally and I traveled internationally, I am being cautious. I traveled for my birthday. I was in Turkey, which, by the way, beautiful country, great people, very, very, very nice, wonderful people, beautiful country. And not only is it a beautiful country, it's kind of like where modern civilization started from the Byzantine Empire, the Ottoman Empire. A lot of modern history came out of Turkey, and that area was beautiful. I was in Istanbul. It was in a city called Cappadocia, and I was in another city called Bodrum, and it was a great trip. I feel fine, Stargirl and squad. I feel absolutely okay. I'm just being cautious. I took my corona test, and I expect results back hopefully tomorrow, if not Thursday. And our expectation is Thursday, I will be back in the office, and I will be doing the show with Jonathan and Vanessa. Violet Blackwood. It was a long wait. It certainly was. Lisa Bling Rose, squad up. Who else we got here? Elizabeth Francis, squad up. Carol Samaru, squad up. Ma Dukes, welcome back. Welcome back, Ma Dukes. Everyone's saying welcome back to me. I got to say welcome back to everybody else. Jonathan Elias, welcome back, Yo-Yo, in the comments. How's everybody doing there? And who else we have here? I probably missed a whole bunch of people, but I can sit here and say hello to people. I'm 8 minutes into a show already, and I haven't even got into YouTube yet. Let's say hello to all the squad on YouTube. Ja Love saying hello. Aman Kasharia saying hello. Squad up. Elizabeth Darby. Good evening, squad. Bailey Constance saying hi, Brad. Now, for those who don't know, Bailey is a new member of the crew. She is recreating all of our, if you notice on Instagram and YouTube, things are starting to change. Colors and shapes and much, hopefully it'll be a much more beautiful and wonderful experience. Thank you, Bailey. She's in charge of all of that. Rosanna Tagliabue, Brad is back. Rosanna also part of our new team. Antoinette Q, praying for you. Why? I'm okay, I hope. But thank you very much. Maxwell Daisy, squad up. Elizabeth Darby, how are you? Mark Clark, squad up. Big Uncle. I'm Big Uncle now. And who else we have here? I think that's it on YouTube for right now. Nahola Kamula saying, welcome back. I always get great service when I call. Keep up the great job to all your team for the exceptional service. Well, thank you very much. I appreciate that. All right. So everybody, before we get into some schmoozing, got to remind everybody a couple things. Number one, if you have not subscribed on YouTube yet, please subscribe. The best way for us to reach you and to reach other people is to subscribe. If you subscribe to YouTube, every time we come on the air, whether it's a pop-up like today, whether we're live on the studio, and everybody knows Brad Show live time is all over the place. Sometimes we start at 5:30, sometimes we start at 6, sometimes we start 5:45. Who knows what time we start? But if you subscribe on YouTube, and also if you subscribe on Facebook, no, you don't subscribe on Facebook. You like and follow on Facebook. You will be notified every time. You're going to get a ding. Uncle Brad is on. Ding. Yo-Yo is on. Ding. Nesquik is on. Ding. Brad Show Live is on. You don't have to come join us, but at least you get the ding and you know we're there. So please make sure you subscribe on YouTube. Please make sure you like and follow us on Facebook. For those on Facebook, we really appreciate when you do host your own show within our show, and therefore we reach as many people as we can. Leave your immigration questions in the comment section. We're not going to be taking any calls today. Leave your immigration questions in the comment section. I'm going to answer as many as I can. But in the meantime, we got to do something we like to call schmoozing with Brad. So anyway, I was gone for 2 weeks, and it feels like I was in a coma, and I was gone for 10 years. So here's what you missed while I was away, or maybe you didn't miss it. So we were gone a couple of weeks, and I just needed to make sure that I recap everything that happened while we were on break. Trump, our orange man, he tested positive for COVID. He was rushed to Walter Reed Hospital on a Friday evening. While staying at the hospital, Trump took a little joyride Sunday night to greet his supporters while he's absolutely sick. He is spraying COVID all over the inside of his limousine. The poor guy who was driving that limousine, I would not want that job, nor would I want that job of the Secret Service who has to, get sprayed with COVID by Trump to go wave to his supporters. But that's what he did. It was a move that absolutely horrified many Secret Service agents. He endangered so many people's health just for political gain to wave to his followers. He was discharged from Walter Reed on Monday evening. He tweeted a video in which he told people not to be afraid of COVID, saying, quote, "Don't be afraid of it. You're going to beat it." Now, this is even though 215,000 Americans have already died from the disease. And I would say to Donald Trump that God forbid me or anybody in the squad or anybody I love, or for that matter, any American was to get COVID. If that American, me, you, or any American got COVID and we were able to go to Walter Reed Medical Facility and we were able to have 4 or 5 or 6 of the best doctors in the United States of America taking care of us, plus have a presidential suite at Walter Reed Hospital, plus have the ability to have every experimental drug known to mankind, and a team of medical professionals that are triple plus. Yeah, I wouldn't be afraid either. But that's not the case. That's not the case when you walk into Elmhurst Hospital. You're not getting that. That's not the case when you walk into a lot of these hospitals. So it's very easy for Donald Trump, Mr. Silver Spoon in his mouth, to say, don't be afraid of it. Yeah, if I had what you had, Donald, I wouldn't be afraid of it. Meanwhile, Trump and Biden squared off for the first presidential debate for the 2020 election, and it was pretty much a disaster. I actually slept through it because I was 7 hours ahead in Turkey, but I watched it the next day. Now, during the debate, Trump repeatedly interrupted Biden, talked over the moderator, Chris Wallace, before rushing to condemn the white supremacist group, the Proud Boys, and in fact before refusing to condemn the white supremacist group, the Proud Boys, and in fact telling them to stand by. The vice presidential debate happened, and Senator Kamala Harris and Mike Pence were separated by plexiglass dividers because at least 22 people in Donald Trump's circle, including Melania, tested positive for coronavirus. But at the end of the day, what we learned about the vice presidential debate was a fly that landed on Pence's head that drove everybody crazy. Pence didn't know the fly was there, and that's everybody what he was talking about. Nobody heard anything else anybody was saying, but that fly, that was the winner of the vice presidential debate. Meanwhile, the FBI foiled a plot to abduct Michigan Democrat Governor Gretchen Whitmer from her vacation home. 6 men were charged with federal crimes, and another 7 men were charged with state crimes, conspiring to abduct the governor before the November 3rd elections. By the way, just so you know, in general times, this doesn't happen in a decade. This all happened in 2 weeks. Now, according to a federal complaint, the plot was in reaction to what they viewed as her uncontrolled power. Today, it was also reported that Governor Ralph Northam of Virginia was also discussed as a possible target by the anti-government group. Now, meanwhile, White House physician Sean Conley. Now, he's in a strange position because he is a doctor, but he also has to do whatever President Trump says because he is in the cabinet of Trump. Trump is his boss, but he's also Trump's doctor. So, there's kind of a conflict there. But he said yesterday, Trump tested negative for COVID on consecutive days, and Trump therefore headed out to the campaign crowds in Florida. Now, however, this Dr. Conley, he left out some key information, including which days and how many days Trump actually was negative. He also offered rapid test results. those rapid test results are less accurate than the PCR, which I took, which goes up your nose, and you got to wait at least overnight for a result. The rapid tests, by the way, actually perhaps was a contributing factor to 22 people in the White House getting sick because everybody was doing those rapid tests. They were coming back negative, but apparently somebody was positive there and they gave it to everybody. So those rapid tests are not the best indicators of whether you're sick or not. The better indicator is the one that goes up your nose, and then you got to send it off to Quest Labs or the local hospital just to grow the COVID in a petri dish, and they let you know the next day. Now, Donald Trump, despite all of this, he addressed a packed, largely maskless crowd in Florida, a state he desperately needs to win. And it's so sad because, here in New York, I like to go to Florida on weekends and get some sun and come back. I can't go now. Nobody wears a mask in that state. Meanwhile, the New York Times, the Wall Street Journal, the Washington Post are all among major outlets that have declined to assign reporters to travel with Trump as he returns to the campaign trail this week, saying they do not have assurance that any basic precautions are going to be taken to protect reporters' health. At the Florida rally, Trump declared, "I feel so powerful, I'm going to walk into that audience. I'm going to walk in there and I'm going to kiss everybody in the audience. I'm going to kiss guys. I'm going to kiss the beautiful women, everybody." Polls of his Democratic opponent, Joe Biden, ahead by 10.5 points as of Friday. This is the problem. We're only on October 13th. The election is more than 3 weeks away. A poll tells you a snapshot, a photograph, a moment in time of what people think 3 days ago. So any poll that came out today started 3 days ago. So when you say Joe Biden is ahead by 10.5 points, he was ahead 10.5 points, if this poll is even accurate, sometime between October 10th and October 12th. We don't know what people are going to do on November 3rd, which is why Hillary Clinton lost. Every poll said she was going to win, and then people changed their mind at the last second. I was telling Jilly off the air, I said, please, why can't we just have the election today? Now, according to these polls, Trump is also losing support from seniors, who are the most vulnerable in a pandemic that has already killed, as I've already said, 215,000 Americans. Now, although the rally was held outside where the virus is less likely to spread, attendees lacked any social distancing, and masking at Trump events has raised a lot of concerns. Earlier in the day, Dr. Anthony Fauci, the nation's top infectious disease expert, he said holding these large rallies was asking for a lot of trouble. Now, according to the statistics from the Johns Hopkins University, there are now more than 37.9 million coronavirus cases worldwide. More than 1 million people have died. More than 26 million people have recovered. In the United States alone, there are 7.8 million people have been diagnosed with COVID. America has more than 215,000 deaths. Drug maker Johnson & Johnson said Monday it has paused the advanced clinical trial of its experimental coronavirus vaccine because of an unexplained illness in one of the volunteers. This is the second vaccine trial to go on hold. AstraZeneca also paused their trial in the United States because, and there's about 7 companies right now that are developing these vaccines. 2 of the 7 have stopped their trials because people got sick, an unexplained illness. Now, that doesn't mean that this vaccine is not safe. We don't know yet what this unexplained illness was. That's what they are looking at. Was this unexplained illness a result of the vaccine, or was this just an illness that somebody would have? They're testing 60,000 people. Of course, somebody's going to get sick some way, somehow, that has nothing to do with the vaccine. We'll find out. Meanwhile, 33 states are reporting a rise in COVID cases, including here in New York. Local officials are worried that this could be the beginning of the second surge. Let's hope that doesn't happen. In Washington, Supreme Court nominee Amy Coney Barrett's Senate hearing kicked off yesterday. Monday was day 1 of 4 of the fast-track proceedings for the 48-year-old judge to take the late Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg's Supreme Court seat. Senator Michael Lee, who was recently diagnosed with COVID, showed up in person and spoke without a mask at the nomination hearing. I would be horrified if I was there. This guy had COVID a week ago, and he's now showing up without a mask. Now, Barrett honored RBG for the path she marked and the life she led. I'm quoting her, saying nobody could take her place. Republicans accused the Democrats of attacking Barrett for being a devout Catholic, but nobody mentioned Catholicism today at the hearings. Senator Kamala Harris slammed the confirmation process as both illegitimate and reckless. She believes, like the majority of Americans, that the next Supreme Court justice should be decided by the winner of the 2020 election. Other Democrats focused on abortion access and health care, arguing that a Barrett confirmation could overturn Roe versus Wade and roll back the Affordable Care Act. Today, Barrett repeatedly declined to give her views of Roe versus Wade and Supreme Court precedent that preserved that 1973 landmark. Even Senator Dianne Feinstein asked Barrett if Trump has the authority to delay the general election. And she said, I would need to hear these arguments before I give you an opinion. Barrett weighed in on the issue of severability, telling senators she has no judicial record on the doctrine and has never written about it. Severability states that if some terms in a contract or legislation are held to be illegal or unenforceable, the remainder still applies. This is the key thing for the Affordable Care Act, which is Obamacare, because it's one of the two issues the Supreme Court must decide after it hears arguments on November 10th. And here's what you missed in immigration news. So much going on. I go away for 2 weeks, and it's a completely different world. The New York Times reported that in 2018, then Attorney General Jeff Sessions, he was the first Attorney General, and then Deputy Attorney General Rod Rosenstein. You may remember Rod Rosenstein from the Mueller investigation. After Sessions recused himself, Rosenstein was the Attorney General who was in charge of supervising Mueller in the Mueller report. Well, guess what? General Jeff Sessions and Deputy Attorney General Rod Rosenstein said they were the driving force behind Donald Trump's zero-tolerance family separation policy. Sessions told prosecutors, we need to take away children. Rosenstein went even further, saying it did not matter how young the children were. The 5 U.S. attorneys, including 3 appointed by Donald Trump, recoiled against the order to prosecute all undocumented immigrants, even if it meant separating children from their parents. They told Justice Department officials they were deeply concerned about the children's welfare, and immigration and customs enforcement officials have started to implement a policy that allows officers to arrest and rapidly deport undocumented immigrants who have been in the United States for less than 2 years. So what does that mean? That means that if you entered the country without it only applies to people who entered the country without inspection. If you entered the country without inspection, you are considered still at the border for up to 2 years. So if you get caught by immigration, you entered on a visa, you still have a right to a deportation hearing. If you get caught by immigration and you entered without inspection and you can't prove that you were physically here for 2 years, immigration can deport you without a hearing. It's going to be very, very difficult for people to prove that they have been here for less than or more than 2 years. How is immigration going to make that determination? Are you going to walk around with documents in your pocket to show you've been in the United States for more than 2 years? You may have to. Not if you came here on a visa, but certainly if you came here without inspection. The Trump administration's deportation effort, it was blocked by a federal court judge soon after the policy was first announced in 2019. But in June, the U.S. Court of Appeals for the District of Columbia Circuit lifted the preliminary injunction. And that is why now ICE is able to deport people who have been here for less than 2 years if you entered without inspection. If you came here on a visitor's visa, a student visa, or a green card, they can't deport you. You need to see a judge. But if you have been here for less than 2 years without inspection, the presumption is that you're still at the border, you have no rights. Now, this policy is going to allow the agency to arrest and deport lots of undocumented immigrants without any hearing before an immigration judge. And finally, Melania Trump, who everybody thought was a nice woman, well, she mocked the plight of migrant children who were separated from their parents at the border in 2018 during a conversation secretly taped by a former aide and confidant, Stephanie Winston Wolkoff, who has just published a tell-all book. The conversation took place weeks after Melania made headlines when she traveled to an immigrant shelter for children in Texas along the Mexican border and wore a jacket that read in white capital letters, "I really don't care, do you?" Now, at the time, Trump and Melania said the message was directed to reporters, but in the secret recordings, Melania said, "I'm driving liberals crazy by wearing it." So, Melania, we didn't know what the story was with Melania. I actually thought when Trump ran for president, that Trump said, here's some money, you be quiet, you just be my wife for 4 years. But apparently she's a big Trump supporter too. Meanwhile, for those who have watched Brad Show Live in the past, you are very well aware of the $120,000 banana. You know that $120,000 banana, the one that was duct taped to the wall at Miami Art Basel. An artist took a banana, put some duct tape on a wall, and said, $120,000. This is art. Well, it went viral when it was showed at the Art Basel, Miami, in December, and it's now hanging on the wall of the Guggenheim Museum after being donated anonymously. I don't know what is a worse sign for the end of the world, whether we have an orange man in the White House or a $120,000 banana duct taped to a wall that somebody actually pays $120,000 for, donates it to a museum, and a museum says, yes, this is art, we're putting it up on the wall too. The Guggenheim director, Richard Armstrong, said, "We are grateful recipients of the gift, a further demonstration of the artist's deft connection to the history of modern art." I'm sorry, Richard Armstrong. This is a banana with duct tape to a wall. Now, it comes with a certificate of authenticity and instruction manual so that owners can duct tape their own bananas to the wall. Apparently, the banana will rot after 7 to 10 days. And every 7 to 10 days, you have to now go and duct tape a new banana to the wall. Meanwhile, a man who founded the Jelly Belly name to give away is giving away a candy factory as part of a gold ticket treasure hunt. This is kind of cool. The founder of the name Jelly Belly is launching a series of golden ticket treasure hunts across the country before his retirement. Think Willy Wonka with a twist. David Klein announced the contest in a video message online saying the big winner will walk away with the key to their very own candy factory in development, not affiliated with Fairfield, California-based Jelly Belly. Thousands of dollars in prizes are up for grabs. The contest rules states you will be looking for a gold ticket in the form of a necklace with a tag that includes a code you need to use to verify your find. Winners will receive $5,000. So they are going, all of these gold tickets are going to be hidden in secret locations throughout the United States of America. We are going to have the ultimate treasure hunt where the winner will be receiving a key to one of our candy factories. Now, the contest is not free. Those who wish to participate need to pay $50, and then you get a riddle. And then based on that riddle, you got to go around and look for the treasure. Finally, in Utah, there's a 6-month-old baby, and this baby is water skiing. Meet Richard Humphreys, who is 6 months old. I want you to know I am 52 years old and I cannot water ski, and this 6-month-old baby is water skiing. In a video his parents posted of him on Lake Powell in Utah, he's standing up and balancing himself as the boat pulls him. His mom, Mindy, writes, world's youngest water skier, Rich's dad, Casey, who was just as stoked, saying, 6 months, 4 days, take one look at this kid and tell me he isn't having the time of his life. What's unclear, and even crazier to think about, is if Rich can even walk yet. If he can water ski before he can take his first steps, he may be destined for water life. Mindy and Casey have made it quite clear that their son is quite the outdoorsman. Rich has his own Instagram page, and he sure seems to dig rough in it, especially when H2O is involved. I don't know if that is really good parenting. I'm sorry. I've been a parent of 2 babies. I'm looking at that video. I don't think that's very good parenting. Okay. This is kind of funny too. I don't know if it's funny, but at least the headline's funny. Let's see if it's funny. A man known as the Dreadhead Cowboy, he was arrested for riding his horse on a Chicago highway. Drivers on a Chicago highway recently saw an unusual sight: a single cowboy riding alongside vehicles, slowing down traffic amid rush hour. The Dreadhead Cowboy, a local celebrity whose name is Adam Hollingsworth, said he rode down the Dan Ryan Expressway in support of the Kids Lives Matter movement. The initiative aims to raise awareness and motivate residents to fill out the U.S. Census to help communities receive better funding. Hollingsworth, he was arrested. The cowboy is known as an activist in the Chicago community. He's even worked with Mayor Lori Lightfoot to advocate for filling out the census. That's something you don't see very often. You're driving down the highway. Is that a man on a horse? Well, yes, it is. All right, so that was our schmooze for the day. As we do our pop-up, I am going to be doing our immigration questions right now. But before I do it, I do got to remind everybody, please share this with your friends and family. And start your watch parties right now. If you haven't started your watch parties, let everybody know that I'm going to be answering your immigration questions in our comments section. Also, if you're watching on YouTube and you like our show, please subscribe. Also, if you are watching on Facebook and you like our show, please like and follow. Why? Because you will get a ding every time we come live. You'll never miss us. All right, with that, I think I'm going to start on Facebook with immigration questions. And something we like to call getting answers to your immigration questions. And by the way, if I don't ask your question, ask it again, because I'm reading them. And sometimes I miss one or two. So let's see what questions we have here. If anybody has any questions, if nobody has any questions, I'll just talk whatever I feel like saying. Let's see. Question. A lot of comments. Let's see. Lots and lots of comments. Okay, here's our first question. Jermaine Brown. I was granted asylum last year, so I applied for a change of status this year. All right, congratulations. My question is, how long till I receive my green card, and what are the process before I can get it? Can I enlist in the military just with my court order granting my asylum? Those are three different questions, James. The first question is, when will you receive your green card? I don't know when you'll receive your green card, but generally it's about a year to adjust your status. I know the Trump administration slows down asylum adjustments, especially if you're coming from an African or a Muslim country, but it should be 12 months or less. If it's more than 12 months, then you should be giving me a call and we should be discussing something everybody seems to know already, mandamus. The process is you file your I-485, you get a fingerprint, you get your work permit, and then hopefully you'll get an interview for your green card shortly thereafter. And your last question is, can you enlist in the military just with your court order granting your asylum? The answer is no. In order to enlist in the military, you do need to have a green card. And let's see what else we have here. I'll do my own singing as I look for questions in the comment section on Facebook. And let's see, questions. Okay, here's one. Natisha Gordon with a question. I have a 10-year green card. My kids got a 2-year. The card's expired, and I got a lawyer. I put the free and send it in. I got back a letter. I have to wait 18 months. Why is that? You're talking about sending in the 10-year green card for your children, because when you file the I-751, it is an 18-month process. Apparently, either one, your children got their green cards before you, or 2, you filed to remove the conditions, but you never filed for your children. I'm not sure what happened. But if your kids have a 2-year, they do have to go through the process of going from a 2 to a 10. You did the proper thing by filing the I-751. As long as you can show you were in a bona fide marriage, the kids will get their 10 years. But yes, it is an 18-month process. But assuming you're in a bona fide marriage, you shouldn't have any problems. Let's see. And Stargirl Mika says, I am not telling the truth. People do wear masks in Florida. Okay, maybe I'll come by, Stargirl. You never know. Let's see what else we have here. Questions. Who has a question? Let's see. All right. Nope. Still no questions. Questions. Nobody. Everyone just is talking to one another. Okay. Jermaine Brown with the same question again. All right. Andrea Reed with a question. Now I've gone into the questions. Good evening, Uncle Brad. I got my advance parole in September. Is it safe to travel? I want to go to Jamaica in December for 3 weeks. I went for the interview in 2017. Still no decision. Yes, it's safe to travel on the advance parole. I wouldn't go for more than 3 weeks. Ask me again in December before you go. As of now, it's absolutely safe. If you haven't gotten a decision on your case since December 2017, something's wrong somewhere. 3 years now going on, 3.5 years, whatever it is. I think you need a consultation. Precious Michael with a question. Wow, this is a long one. Long one for Precious. Brad, I hope you're well. I recently filed a VAWA case. This one is so long, the only thing you see is my nose. I haven't received my receipt notice yet, and my I-485 marriage-based interview has been scheduled for the 20th of October, 2020. I am scared of showing up for the interview without my husband because of the fear USCIS interviews decisions on my case, given that I have no receipt notice as proof that my VAWA case has been filed. What would you advise me to do? Should I show up for the interview? Absolutely show up for the interview and tell the immigration officer you did file for VAWA. Bring a copy of everything that you submitted so you can show it to the immigration officer. Here's a copy of my application. Here's all the documentation I submitted. Here it is. I haven't gotten a receipt notice yet. The immigration officer will give you an additional 30 days to bring that receipt notice. The biggest mistake you would do is to be scared not to go, because if you don't go, something bad's going to happen, which is they're going to deny your adjustment and put you in removal. So absolutely go with a copy of what you submitted and say, this is what I submitted. I haven't gotten the receipt back. Please give me 30 days. And as soon as I get the receipt, I'll let you know. And the officer will absolutely give you another 30 days. She has additional question. I filed for another I-45 together with my VAWA application, provided them with my current I-45 case number. I'm scared they may return it because no payment was made for the I-45. Payment wasn't attached because I thought it would be a continuation of the current ongoing adjustment. Okay, so that was a mistake. One, you can't have 2 adjustments going at the same time. So what's going to happen is, and don't get scared, they're going to accept your VAWA case, and you'll get a receipt notice back for the I-360. You're going to get the I-45 returned with a rejection for the I-45, but they're only rejecting the second I-45 because you can't have 2 I-45s going, and number 2, you didn't pay for it. So you're going to get the I-360 notice back. You're going to continue the I-45 that you filed originally, that you're going on that interview on October 20th. All right, let's see what else we have here. Nicole Rogers with a question. My friend's husband, he works for the United States government, and he has some side work that he says he does not pay taxes in 2 to 3 years. Can he still file? And how can they go about dealing with his taxes? Well, if he had some side work that he hasn't paid taxes, the best thing to do is fix it. File an amended tax return immediately, fix the taxes, show all the income you make, and then file for your spouse, and you fixed everything. Marlinda Malcolm with a question. My I-130 was approved in May 2020. When will I hear from the National Visa Center? I don't know who's sponsoring you, Melinda, but let's assume it's a U.S. citizen husband. You should be hearing from them already. Kamisha Tyrell with a question. What documents should we submit to USCIS when applying to remove the conditions? Well, you can submit an I-751, which is the application to remove the conditions, and you can submit all the documentation that you have to prove that you are in a bona fide marriage, or you are in a bona fide marriage with your spouse. So things that a husband and wife would have, pictures together, proof that you have a financial relationship together, and proof that you live together. Let's see what else we have here. Jane Karenina with a question. Hi, Uncle Brad. I got the I-360 approval and I filed the I-824. What would be the next step? I'm outside of the USA. How long for an interview average? All right, so you filed as an abused spouse. You left the United States of America. If the I-360 got approved and was not transferred to the National Visa Center, you filed the I-824 to transfer it to the National Visa Center. That should, unfortunately, takes a while, 6 to 8 months, and then you'll be another 6 to 8 months at the National Visa Center. So from the time you did the I-824, unfortunately, you're probably looking at a year and change out before you can come back. Now, hopefully, you don't have a 10-year bar that you were out of status for more than a year, because then you would need to file a waiver too. Patrona May with a question. Hey, Brad, I filed for my kids. 2 of them are here. 1 is in Jamaica because of the President proclamation, but he's staying with a friend. Okay. I don't know what the question is, but hopefully I'll find it later on. Alizarg Aquar with a question. I filed the I-130 for my dad last February 2020. I got the receipt notice. I still haven't heard from them. Is there something I have to be concerned about? Only be concerned if you haven't heard after more than 1 year. So February 2021 comes around and you haven't heard, then give me a call. Anahat Garzayan. Hi, Mr. Brad. Please give me your advice. My individual hearing day was in June in Newark, New Jersey, but because of Corona, it didn't take place. The EOIR system shows that this case is pending. Besides waiting, as my lawyer said, what should I do to inquire about my case, expedite the process? Should I write the letter to the clerk? Senator, what do you suggest? Right now, they are not doing any cases in Newark unless you're detained. So until coronavirus kind of subsides and until, immigration starts doing a regular calendar, there's nothing you can do. Unfortunately, as your lawyer said, just wait it out for the time being. But certainly don't wait it out forever. If, nothing changes in your life by January, come back and ask me that question again. I may give you a different answer. Doris Dennis, I'm a green card holder. My husband and 3 girls are under the age of 18. They're approved a year now. I still haven't heard from the National Visa Center. Well, you should have heard because the priority dates are current. They should be processing for them. Now, there is a presidential proclamation that bars the issuance of the green card, but you should have heard from the National Visa Center. And certainly I would follow up on that. Gravitational pull. I got to learn how to read. Hi, Brad. I got a girlfriend in South Korea. Is it okay to enter the U.S.? I mean, visit, or is there a travel ban? There is a travel ban. Not from South Korea, though. So she should be able to come and visit, but from a lot of countries, but not South Korea. Hi, Brad. I have an approved VAWA since 2015. I filed the I-45 since 2017. I got a receipt, and up until now, I still don't have a response. Call me, pick up the phone, just dial moi, because 2017, that's 3 years already. Something is a problem. I don't know the answer, but we got to get to the bottom of it. There's a number scrolling on the bottom. Call us. 3 years is way, way too long. Mario Navas, can I refile a VAWA case that was denied for not responding to an RFE in 2002? You can, but if you are divorced for more than 2 years, you can't. But I think you're going to have a very hard time proving abuse from 20 years ago. But yeah, if your question is, can you? The answer is yes, of course you can. Leo Locus with a question. I got my 10-year green card in 2019. Can I file for my 10-year-old son who overstayed his visa and is in the country with me on my own as my husband is not willing to help? If yes, what is the process? You file an I-130 visa petition for him. The other thing you can do, and then you would have to become a citizen in order to adjust the status. The other thing you can do is if the biological father is not in the United States and you are not eligible to become a citizen for a couple of years, perhaps a SIJ, that he got abandoned by the biological father in another country, get guardianship of him in a family court, and then he could file as a special immigrant juvenile. So that's a one way around waiting on your citizenship to file adjustments for your child. Kingman Quadwo. Kingman. Hopefully I give the Kingman a good answer. Hi, Brad. I filed a VAWA case in August 2018. In May this year, the USCIS sent a letter to the lawyer and it was sent back to USCIS. Not sure of what was in the letter. I've been waiting since and I have not heard anything. I tried calling the lawyer, but I get no answer. What can I do? You got a letter. You have no idea what was in the letter. The lawyer sent it back and you can't speak to the lawyer. Sounds like you need a new lawyer. Call me, pick up the phone and dial moi. Singing lawyer. 1-800-529-5465. We'll get a copy of your immigration records and you will request immigration through a FOIA and we'll see what's going on with the case. I don't know, but we'll get a copy of the records. Let's see. Merlinda Malcolm. My mother filed, I am in the F3 category. The I-130 was approved in May 2020. When will I hear from the National Visa Center? I don't know when your mom filed for you. It's not when it was approved. It's when it was filed. When it was filed is the priority date, not when it was approved. So you got to let me know when was it approved. Dwayne White, do you have to pay to renew your combo card, Uncle Brad? No, you do not. Not if it's based on an adjustment. All right, let's go over to YouTube and see what is going on YouTube with questions. All right. Dave Camarachi. Brad, I'm worried if you have corona. I do not have corona. I can tell you for a fact I can't tell you for a fact I don't. I can tell you, Dave, I feel absolutely fine. I took a corona test because I was in another country, as I said, and I just needed to make sure that I'm okay. And of course, Mark Clark says, feel better, Brad. Again, fake news. I don't have corona. I feel fine. Look at the smile. All I was saying was I'm home quarantining as a precaution. I feel fine. Thumbs up. All right. Let's see what questions we have on YouTube. Support to Children has a question. He says, hi, Uncle Brad. My friend in LPR stayed out of the U.S. for 7.5 months in 2016, returning January 18th, 2017. Can he apply the end of January on the 4-year, 1-day rule? Can he apply for what? Citizenship? There is no 4-year, 1-day rule. If you're talking about citizenship, it's 5 years for citizenship. So if he came back in January 2017, he could apply for citizenship January 18th, 2022, and you can actually put your application in 90 days before January 18th, 2022. Dave with a question. Brad, my brother-in-law came to the U.S. on the F2 visa, the spouse of a student. They're divorced now. Can he marry a U.S. citizen and adjust his status after being out of status? Absolutely. He made a legal entry. He absolutely can. Jane Greaseback. Hi, Uncle Brad. I got the I-360 approval and filed the I-824. What would be the next step? I'm outside of the United States. Oh, Jane, you had asked that question on Facebook as well. The I-824 is to transfer your file from USCIS to the National Visa Center for visa processing. So you have to file that I-824 to transfer the file. Once you get at the National Visa Center, they're going to send you biographic data forms. You do not need an affidavit of support or anything, but hopefully you didn't overstay your time, because then you may need a waiver for the 10-year bar. Nevertheless, once your case gets to the National Visa Center, that's when the visa processing will start. Dwayne Gordon. Can my mother file for me if I'm overstay my visa? I'm over 21. My mom's a green card holder. Sure, she can. It's going to take years. We don't know what's going to happen at the end of the case. We don't know whether you'll be able to adjust your status here or go home. But yeah, put in an I-130 for sure. Let's see what happens down the line. Memi, sorry. Hi, Uncle Brad. How long the processing of filing asylum from the detention? Those go pretty fast, 6 months or so. Rosemito Valer. My question is, how long the whole process is taking for sister or brother? The whole process is taking 15 years right now. Muwanaka Salim. Hey, Brad, what happens when you send a check with an excess amount of money to USCIS? I asked this because of the injunction issued by the Northern District of California. If you don't send the exact amount of money to USCIS, you send too much, you send too little, they're going to send back the entire case, unfortunately. Marvelous Adonai. I got my 10-year green card in 2019. Can I file for my 10-year-old son who overstayed his visa and is the country with me on my own, as my husband is not willing to help? If yes, what is the process? I answered that question. I said you could file an I-130, wait to become a citizen, adjust, or you can also do a SIDGE. Just rewind about 15 minutes. AJ, has the fees increased? No, they're back to the old fees. There's an injunction. RR. Hi, Brad. I just applied for citizenship. I was arrested for controlled substance 6 years ago, and I received an ACD case was dismissed. Do I have to worry about anything? If it was more than 6 years ago and the case was dismissed, you do not have to worry about anything because it's more than 5 years, good moral character. Jade, how many times can USCIS extend my prima facie before making a final decision on my VAWA case? They haven't asked for any more evidence. How many times can USCIS extend my prima facie before making a final decision on my VAWA case? Forever. They can do it forever. Shanti Singh, is taking unemployment benefits a public charge? No, it's not. Jessica Omo, how long after the interview is scheduled does it take to get a notice mailed to you? It could be a week. It could be the rest of your life. They're supposed to do it in 120 days, but who says they ever follow the laws? Tunde Ajala with a question. Hi, Brad. Can someone who was arrested but never charged with a crime and the arrest was deemed not to have occurred eligible to apply for N400? Absolutely. Wisdom Maliki. Hi, Brad. Can I travel to supervise a job outside the USA for the company that employed me here in the US using my combo card while I'm waiting for my interview? Yes, but don't stay out for more than 2 to 3 weeks. Ronald Ayugi. What will happen if you did not file the I-944 during the injunction August 10th, 2020? Will you get an RFE or biometrics first? You will get an RFE and the biometrics together. Mimi Sari, can be bailed out from detention after filing for asylum? Absolutely, you can request bail. Ginger Juice, hey, Uncle Brad, I'm looking to start school as I wait on my case. I got accepted, but the college is asking me for proof of domicile. What kind of documents are these? I don't know what you mean by you're waiting on your case. I don't know what case you have. So you would need to be a little more specific. Antoinette Q with a question. How long to petition a single son over 21? About 6 to 8 years, depending if you're a resident or a citizen. Jermaine Brown, any news of Cameroonians to be deported on Tuesday in one of the detention centers in Texas? I'm not aware of those cases, so I don't know the answer to that. Brian Patterson, hi, Uncle Brad. My wife filed an I-130. I live in Canada. For me, the case is at the National Visa Center. They approved all the documents have been submitted. How long do you think it's going to take for an interview? Hopefully about 3 or 4 months. Let's hope that's the case. And finally, the last question. 2 questions. The final 2 questions. Number 1, Mr. Skyline, is emergency Medicaid considered a public charge? Yes, it is. Jade, can an LPR file for their undocumented spouse if the LPR just recently divorced? Yes, they can, unless they got their green card through marriage to a U.S. citizen, then they cannot file for their next spouse for at least 5 years from the date that they got their original green card. And there you have it, folks. That was all of the immigration questions that were put up in our comment section, I believe. But before we go, I do have to do something that we like to call comments of the day. Let's see what the comments of the day are. The comments of the day are, number one comment is, Jeff Bosey, I'd rather see Brad become a pick for the Supreme Court. Me too. Me too, Jeff. Me too. Maybe one day. Nona Letha Kamula, welcome back. I always get great service when I call. Keep up the great job to all your team for exceptional service. Thank you very much. Thank you for the kind words. Kincaid Fernanda, I missed you, Brad. I watch you every day. You give me good advice. I did it by myself. It worked out. Different times. Seek help, my friends. Congratulations, Kincaid. And Warjen, we love you, Brad. And of course, I love the entire squad. I love the entire crew. Thank you all for watching. We're going to do another pop-up tomorrow, but we're going to be back with a full live Brad Show Live on Thursday. We'll see you all tomorrow. Thanks for watching.